Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the University of Notre Dame's London Center. I'm Greg Kusich. I'm the academic director here in this building, which is now the main international hub for the University of Notre Dame, in which we have a large undergraduate study abroad program and a law postgraduate program. And in addition to that, the center here is a really buzzing, dynamic venue for scholarly conferences, lecture series, book launches, poetry readings, the sort of things that we're doing tonight. There's actually a schedule of summer events that you've got scattered around on chairs there. It's a vibrant center here, and I always say in this fabulous location, if you host it here, they will come. So we're overjoyed that you have all come tonight, and really the energy and the excitement of this center accrues from the creative energy of everybody who comes to it. So I'd like to thank you all for being tonight and bringing your energies and resources to our center here, and also to extend an open invitation to anybody who might be interested in hosting a reading here or a lecture or a conference. We're very much in an expansive mode right now, especially in terms of forming partnerships with British universities and associations and presses as well. This is all part of our present and our future. And speaking of the present, why don't I turn to Tony now, who's going to introduce our speakers for tonight.
We have three poets for you tonight, as Greg has said, and there's kind of balance to it, really. We have an American poet, we have an English poet, and we have an American poet who lives in England. So that kind of goes together with an American university sitting in London. We're going to start off the evening with Carrie Etter, who's the rose amongst the thorns tonight. Carrie has published one book with Shearsman. It's her second volume. The first was from Seren a couple of years ago. And Carrie's work is unusual in the contemporary poetry world for occupying several sectors of it at once. It's a common fact that poets tend to stay in a kind of tramway, if you like, and stay on those lines all the way. Carrie kind of hops from one set of lines to another and then comes back again, much to the confusion of all her reviewers. And perhaps also sometimes her readers. I hope not. I'm one of those people who happens to read across the tram lines, so it's nice to know. But we'll start with Carrie, and she'll be reading from her recent Shearsman volume, Divining for Starters, and she can introduce it better herself. Carrie Etter.
Thank you, Tony. This book, Divining for Starters, really came out of one of those kind of mental obsessions. About 10 years ago or so, when I was a PhD student back in California, I was tugging on with the idea a lot about ideas of beginnings and origins, and the way we make up origins all the time. A new day, a new year, a new project, a new chapter. And I started writing about kind of that way of the way in which, the fictionality of it, I guess, the way we make this up all the time. Divining for Starters, 53. The body's warmth more palpable for flavor of those grapes. Outside speech, a quiet pub. Fingers on the well-worn grain, soft as no general objection to metaphor. And now, under my breasts, the slightest, fingering my small store of words, held on the tongue, the skin of, the flesh of it, that low precipice. A lot of poems in here are set in English pubs. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they seem the perfect place to write. A shorter one, Divining for Starters, 67. In the suppressed gesture of desire, if only, gazes join, more wire than bridge, soft under the chin, as if to transcend by travel, fingertip, fingertip. I just moved from Bradford-on-Avon in Wiltshire to Bath, and one of the things I really miss is that I had, as kind of my local, just across the street, Pub the Swan, that used to have jazz for free every Thursday night in their cellar bar. And I don't know, there's just something about those open jazz nights that I really miss, and especially with this warm weather, it seems perfect. There's a line that recurs, I-U-I, and that's I-E-Y-E. Divining for starters, 77, The Swan, Bradford-on-Avon. Syncopate to the possibility of slow trumpet. If I nod, I mean I, pluck to jazz. Heat cups my breasts, summer aesthetic. Flirt me, I, double bass through the old gentleman. Cymbal, brush. Oh, to be a girl. A bash and swing, my trumpet, my drum, my xylophone. This is Poem for Two Voices 4.
What am I supposed to know?
The signs, the signals.
Who?
Man.
With or without wine?
Obviously.
Obvious to you.
Transcribe.
Amanuensis.
Which is to translate.
Me and my tongue.
Yeah.
Delect.
Able.
Desire.
Able.
Amid the cacophony.
The signs, the signals.
Oh, for an air traffic controller.
A grammar for the non-verbal.
Sex and desire and...
conversation.
Oh, for an unrequitable.
It's all.
Amid the cacophony.
Lovable, legible.
That'll do.
That was great.
Thank you. You did very well too.
Thank you. And this is the second one she'll read. The other one she'll read with me. Poem for Two Voices 2.
I began in depth.
Where's the paddling pool?
Nuanced by contrast.
Making a handle.
Every time I retold the story,
Meaning keeps moving.
colors grew sharper or changed,
Edging beyond the visible.
upending the usual connotations,
The story's coloring.
creating new enigmas,
Had something to say.
over and over again,
A matter of habit.
of circumstances,
Of need or a hunger for.
the retelling,
Palimpsest.
until I can't recall the original.
If there is such a thing.
Palimpsest, the traces of erasure,
An awkward transition,
that unconscious decision
a kind of frame.
in the starting point,
Feeling apologetic
once upon a life,
for all thus lost.
not that story,
Invented her own golden age.
the stealth of recognition.
In the retelling.
What is depth?
The color of.
Ambiguous, all the same.
Thank you. I wanted to read for the last 4 or 5 poems from some poems about kind of the Midwest, thinking that, I'm here in kind of the university of my next door state of Indiana. If you thought it was warm today, it's 90s today back in Illinois, and I assume Indiana as well. Divining for starters, 54. Once a summer, the field was mown. A pub amid English voices, faces, architecture, with the coinage of the realm. Sisters, weed-scratched sticks for legs. Only then we remembered the baseball diamond beneath. Ease and decline into memory. Loud vows locked in my throat and knocking. Another, easier year. The mock-up of memory. Just another American classic playing overhead. I have 4 younger sisters, I suppose I should say. These sister references go back to them. And we lived on, yes, I'm going to say it, the edge of Normal. My hometown is Normal, Illinois, as some of you know. We lived on the edge of town, and so you only had to go 5-minute walk to reach the cornfields. And the place that one place that a lot of my poems go is this overgrown field where we used to play. It's been developed now, but it's still the place that seems to me symbolic of all the wildness, all the hijinks and trouble and fantasies. Divining for Starters 42. From those barefoot days, a plateau in retrospect, and occasionally in that time, someone's small town pastoral, which is to say, the unbroken membrane of it. No one suspecting, no one heeding. Acres of overgrown field, a strangely domestic elixir, snapping the pods off the vine and eating the peas raw. Blithely, someone's daughters crest and crouch again. About 4 years ago, my dad went to hospital for, sorry for those who've heard the story, a kidney biopsy. And 2 weeks later, he was paralyzed. They had not caught, he had a bed sore they didn't catch. It led to an abscess on his spine. And it was only when he couldn't breathe, that they realized what was happening. And he spent the next 2 years in paralysis before he died for what was the original cause of all this trouble that went unnoticed with the new focus on the paralysis. Invalid. The fluctuations paced to startle. When scrappy flowers pocked the field, nostalgia was in the making. By fluctuations, understand the gradual adjustment to a new status quo. Say, a metallic taste, tuna casserole on Thursdays, shortness of breath. You know how it is, or so goes the refrain. In retrospect, boredom becomes bliss. There's the chance that if you don't succumb to the swerve, you'll crash. Some days you can almost smell the mildly unpleasant odor that stained your hands after you cast the last houndstooth daisy aside. You might be able to conjure it, you think, if it weren't for, you know how it is. I'll close with this. Paternal. A parent, a plinth. The first week he regarded hospital as hotel. So the variables include the kind of stone, its consistency, the velocity of prevailing winds. What's purer than an infidel's prayer? How strangely, in the second week, the swollen limbs stiffened. And the effects of climate change, milder winters, more precipitation, 2-3 heat waves each summer. All American, non-Jewish whites are Christian by default. Incredulous, I realize his bicycle may rust and walk it to the shed. Such an ordinary act of reverence. The pulmonologist, the neurologist, the family physician, a bed is the smallest of bed sores. Blood doesn't come into it. Ritual, of course, is another matter. A Midwestern town of that size exhibits limited types of architecture. I've yet to mention the distance. Come now to the pivot, the abscess, another end of innocence. In every shop, the woman at the till sings, "Merry Christmas," a red turtleneck under her green jumper. I thought jumper rather than sweater, a basic equation of space and time. Midnight shuffles the cards. Translated thus, the matter became surgical, a place on the spine. Each night, the bicycle breaks out to complete its usual course. A loyalty of ritual or habit. I see you means I see you, connected to life by wire and tube. A geologist can explain the complexities of erosion. The third week comes with liner notes, already becoming apocryphal. Look at this old map, where my fingers once stretched across the sea. Thank you.